So real quick, before I start talking about what I'm going to talk about, I just want to point something out real quick. So I have a quarter that was made in 2025, right? And I have another quarter that was made in 1974. So in this 2025 quarter, why did they make George Washington's neck fat as hell? Right? Like look at this one. Like it's less apparent, you know? I don't even know. Just something I noticed. But nah, so I made a few videos on my other channel talking about the subject of this video, and I don't feel like downloading and uploading all of them here. So I'm just gonna record this at fucking almost 2 in the morning. But so about 6 going on 7 months ago, I got fucking banned from the Family Dollar under suspicion of shoplifting, right? And I remember the instance in which that happened vaguely, but I remember it because my allergies fucking were kicking my ass like how they're doing now, but much worse. I was droopy and borderline sick. Pretty much, I was on my way over to the bank to cash a check, but the Family Dollar was on the way, so I figured I was gonna grab some allergy meds, some Red Bull, and maybe a couple of extra things, right? Um, Pretty much, I stood most of the time in the aisle for the allergy meds, and I just spent most of the trip there just fucking staring at him on the phone with somebody trying to figure out which one I needed to get because different allergy meds can do different things, right? You got some stuff that's no dose, right? That won't droop you out, and you got other stuff that'll completely droop you out. And I was already drooped the fuck out. I was basically sick. So I remember I was also trying to get some shampoo and an electric shaver for my beard. And I ended up putting the electric razor back, right? Because I didn't realize the fucking tax for it was going to be like $5, which sent me a little bit over my budget for that particular shopping trip, right? So I was like, all right. And everybody there is short as shit. And I'm standing at around like 6'1" without shoes. So I was like, hey, if you want, right? So I was like, hey, could you take that off? And if you want, I'll just put it right back where I got it, so that way you don't have to reach. I was just trying to be nice. I didn't think anything of it. And then I ended up leaving. I bought all the stuff. I didn't steal anything. I bought everything. And so, I left and went about my business. I stood around for a few minutes trying to fucking unravel the the energy, or not the energy, the allergy pills I got. And then I went to the bank, withdrew everything on my check or whatever, cashed my check, and then I just went back home and whatever. Not that long later on, right? Like I'd say like maybe a couple weeks from then, maybe a week, I don't know. I went back to that Family Dollar to try to buy that razor again because I was in need of shaving my beard. It was way worse than it is right now. I needed to clean my neck up. I needed, the whole 9 yards. So I went over there and I tried buying the razor. I also wanted, because it was September, the Halloween decorations came out hella early. So I was like, all right. So I'm gonna check out to see if they also had any like Halloween stuff going on, so I could buy it, right? So I was sniffing a candle, and this lady came up, and she works there, and pretty much she just told me I needed to leave, right? And I was like, like, hey, you gotta go. I was like, I didn't do anything wrong, so I was just confused more than anything, right? I was like, I didn't know if she meant to leave the store or just that aisle because she was stocking shit. So I was like, all right. So I just went about looking for the razor. And then when I was standing in line trying to buy this razor, she was like, hey, no, you gotta go, man. You gotta leave. And I was like, why? What happened? Did I do something? And she was like, well, no, because you were stealing. I was like, what did I steal? She said, you know exactly what you stole. And then pulled up a picture of me that she took on the camera, right? She took like pictures of the security camera. Didn't show any footage of me stealing. And she just told me that I know what I stole, and then just basically kicked me out. I was like, "Can I buy my shit first, bitch?" I didn't say that, but I was feeling that way because I was confused and I was kind of irritated and offended. But I was just like, "Well, can I buy my stuff first?" She's like, "Yeah, then you got to go." And I was like, "Okay," because I know for a fact I didn't fucking steal nothing. Um, it was just a weird situation. So I'm sitting here like you're embarrassing me in front of a bunch of people I don't know. So I walked up. I was paying for my shit, and I was talking to the clerk. Or the person behind the counter. I was like, "Hey, your manager's accusing me of stealing shit. I assume she's your manager. Like, what's going on?" She's like, "I don't know. She's just looking at the cameras a lot." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So after I paid for my stuff, well, actually, in the middle of me paying for my stuff, she kicks out some random dude who was trying to buy a 2 liter. He was in line. She just kicked him out for fucking something. I don't know what for, but she kicked him out, and then I ended up leaving around the same time that guy did. I didn't ask him any questions though. I should have. There's a lot of things I feel like I should have done, right? And there's a lot of things I feel like they should have done too. For example, if I was shoplifting, first and foremost, you let me hang around the front of your fucking store for a bunch of minutes. You didn't call the cops. You didn't call the cops on me this time either. You just told me to leave and you let me buy shit. Like, that's not protocol, man. You're on some shit. But then again, right, the Family Dollar in question is ghetto as fuck. So, they don't really take care of the store that much, that well. And there's a bunch of fucking crackheads hanging around it. That's all it's like, I mean, I completely understand it from the crackhead perspective of it, but the thing is, right, I'm a paying customer. I've been a paying customer for a while there. I was buying stuff routinely. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't steal anything. And after thinking about it for a while, I think maybe, if anything at all, it's because of the razor. Because there's no other thing, right? It's like, oh, yeah, maybe I don't know, maybe the lady that kicked me out was just like fucking walking around. And then she happened to walk over here and was like, "Hey, I'll put it back up there if you want." Or something, and maybe construed it as, "Oh shit, he got caught stealing." But even then, right, I don't know. So, I channeled my culture, right? I channeled my white man, my inner white person, and I left a review. I just left a review. That's really all I did. I had tried emailing corporate, but it's a ghetto Family Dollar. They probably don't give a fuck. So there really hasn't been any updates besides like a couple people left a like on my review. So yeah, that really sucked, man. It sucked ass, but at the same time, right? I mean, I really shouldn't have been going to that Family Dollar anyways. There's homeless people hanging around outside. There's people that'll just fucking approach you and fucking ask you for shit, and if you don't give them what they want, they're gonna fucking give you a bunch of problems for it because they're fucked up in life. So, I'm still tripping about that because I pass by that Family Dollar regularly. I passed by it this morning, and then I just flip it off every time just as catharsis. I'm like, okay. So, I don't know, man. I don't need that Family Dollar. There's a Dollar Tree around the way, so I'm halfway thinking I might just go over there just to see if I could, like, technically troll them. Because I'm not allowed in that Family Dollar, but they didn't say anything about the Dollar Tree. It's all the same company. I went to another Family Dollar, and I was like, hey, I told me and the clerk were just shooting the shit. And I was like, man, some fucking crazy bitch kicked me out for nothing. And he was like, really? I was like, yeah. He was like, well, what happened? I was like, I told him. He was like, bro, she sounds like a nut job. And I was like, yeah. So I'm going to be talking major shit. I don't even know. Because here's the thing. I don't want to risk going back there and then fucking the cops get involved and I get trespassed and then I'm on the radar even a little bit. So, I don't know, man. I'm thinking if I were to sue them and get like a quick $20 or something, I don't know. Maybe I would. Who knows, man? Who knows? I feel like this is not over. There has to be something I can do. I mean, it's not about winning this battle. It's about restoring balance to the universe here, because I was done dirty. I never falsely accused anybody of stealing, and I didn't kick anyone out for that. The only thing I've kicked anybody out for when I worked at any place was just being homeless because they were soliciting people. or they were being belligerent, or because they weren't following the rules. You know, like for example, a homeless person would come in because there's a lot of them out here. They would come in, ask me to use the restroom. You're not allowed to do that if you're not a paying customer, right? So I can't help you there. And then they start fucking like dragging it out or whatever. That or someone will just start asking questions for stuff and then getting hostile or whatever. Just anything around that line. And then I would have to ask them to leave. And if they don't leave, I'd threaten them with security. But that's different. I never accused anybody of some shit they didn't do, unjustly. It's just we're not a pit stop, and we're a business, so there's not really much I could do there. I'm just gonna do my job, right? I'm just gonna do what everybody else does where I work at, and do exactly what I'm told. But yeah, so while I'm talking about this kind of stuff, I'm gonna make this a double feature. If for some godforsaken reason you were watching this video for longer than like 20 seconds. So, a prime reason that we don't let anybody use the restroom is because, so I work in downtown Dallas, right? And I work near a train station where a lot of homeless people hang out at. They just hop on the train. Sometimes they usually train hop, I imagine, because it's kind of easy to get away with. I've done it a few times without even realizing it. No one came up and asked me for any train ticket or anything like that. Nobody came up and questioned me or anything. I was just on the train and then I got off, Like, I never had any problems. So I imagine if it was easy for me, it was probably easy for more people. So that's my thing. My allergies are kicking my fucking ass right now. But pretty much, what happened was multiple different times, multiple different things happened. But so we'd let people use the restroom, and usually they had ulterior motives. And sometimes it wasn't me, other times it was me. But this one time I came into work, and there's this dude stinking up the bathroom, and he was wearing shorts, but the pockets weren't that deep or that good, so pretty much a bunch of stuff fell out of his pockets, and I saw a bunch of vials fell out. And if you know anything about vials, you put drugs in that shit. There's only two people in the world that I know of that would use fucking vials, and that's either witchcraft people or drug dealers. And this guy didn't exactly look like he was going to be trying to fucking make a spell for manifestation on himself or anything like that. This guy, like 1,000,000% profile in him, was definitely a drug dealer. Because of what he was wearing and because he had vials in his pocket. That is textbook, like, drug dealer shit. Nothing that'll get him in jail. I don't believe necessarily in calling the cops on drug dealers or suspected drug dealers, let alone. I see drug transactions happen all the time at the train station, so frankly, I don't give a fuck about any of that. It's just I know what it is and I know what it isn't. I've been around enough drug dealers in my life to know that shit. I've been around enough witchy people in my life to know that shit. So I know, I'm about 98% confident that I know what I'm talking about, unless I'm just some kind of asshole. But point being, so yeah, that was weird. And then he quickly picked that shit back up. And then after that, he fucking pretty much he came out the fucking stall, decked out in some shit. Like, he had some swag on, but he was still being hella weird. So pretty much I just ignored him because he's fucking humongous. He was a huge dude. He had a bunch of either bug bites or track marks on him. I don't even know. Primarily on his arms. That's why I think they're track marks. But he kind of got on my nerves too because he didn't even pay for anything and he was asking me for shit. So I'm like, no, get the fuck out. Another thing that happened too. This is probably the fucking weirdest thing that happened. So one of my coworkers, she was a kid, so I'd say 19 at the time, and pretty much, she ended up letting a guy in, and I saw that she let him in because I saw a homeless guy come in and didn't leave. And he was fat, but he was still homeless. I don't know how you can do that. But uh, basically, I saw a big fat dude with a bunch of fucking grocery bags walk in. And so I walked in to where we keep our stuff. And then after that, I went into the restroom. And this guy, the first thing I saw when I came in, this dude was almost naked, just in his boxers, right? And not only was he in his boxers, he was washing himself with the hand soap. He was covered in hand soap, scrubbing under his flaps, folds, and etc. And I just had to kick him out. I just kicked him the fuck out. I was not having a good day already, so I just kicked him the fuck out. I was like, hey, get out, dude. You gotta leave, man. And he was like, oh, wait a minute. And I was like, no, I'm not waiting a minute. You're getting the fuck out right now. Don't make me call the cops, dude. And then eventually, right, I ended up having to get the fucking security in here. I didn't even call the cops yet. I got security in there, and they ended up escorting this guy out. He was still wet, in his boxers still, with all of his clothes jumbled up with his grocery bags. They're pretty much, you just walked them out. And the last thing that happened, well, I mean, there's a bunch of instances that were real small, but we prevented that stuff from happening. But pretty much, like, this one dude came in, and I didn't let him in the restroom, but I'm the one who fucking made the 911 call. But basically, I guess he shot up in the wrong vein, and there was blood everywhere. Like, there's blood all over the place. Like, it was especially on the floor. Some of it was on the wall and on the mirror and in the sink. But pretty much, yeah, so someone came in, one of the guests came in, saw that, and then let somebody know, and then they told me to go into the restroom, so I went in. It was a whole fucking scene. This dude's like flipping his shit, basically also about to pass out. It was just very weird because everything was happening at really fast. I was not expecting any of this. They just told me to go in because something might be weird going on. So they didn't say anything about any needles or any blood. They just said something's going on in there, and I was like, okay. I was just expecting some guy to be fucking jacking off. I don't know. I didn't even know. But I ended up calling the cops. The EMTs came by. They put him on a stretcher, wheeled him out of the restaurant. It was fucking weird. But apart from that, as I said, we would stop other stuff from happening. We would just stop people from even getting the chance, and that would cause problems. Hey, man, can I use the restroom? No, it's for paying customers only. And usually it's, one of the reactions we get is like they make it racial because most of them are black. But it has nothing really to do with any of that. It's because you're not a paying customer. Like, we have plenty of black paying customers. They can use the restroom fucking willy-nilly because at the end of the day, they spend money here. They are respected, and they can use the restroom whenever the fuck they want. They can pee-pee, they can poo-poo, they can vomit, shit, cum. They can shit out cum, it doesn't matter. They can fucking do anything they want in there as long as they're not fucking, within reason. I don't give a shit if people are even doing blow in there. As long as you're paying customers, go for it. As long as I don't see it. If I do see it, then I'm going to want some. In which case, that'll be the only problem they deal with. But besides that, that's just anybody. But point being. So yeah. Usually they default to it's because I'm black. But then we'd have to explain that shit. No. It's not because you're black, sir. Then why? Because you're not a paying customer. Yeah, but that's not good customer service, man. A lot of people would say that whenever they don't get their way, for some reason, anytime someone doesn't get their way and doesn't let any of us fucking, like, whenever they can't get one over on anybody, they always, like, default to some bullshit. Like, it's not good customer service or whatever. Like, specifically that. And I think that's pretty stupid. It's like, bro, I'm not your bitch, okay? I'm here so I can pay my bills, get my groceries, and fuel my drug habits. I'm not here to fucking kiss your ass, suck your dick, and tickle your taint. I'm here for my own benefit and also to make the paying customers happy. So that way they pay me. That's the whole aim of the game here. right? Fucking some dude was yelling at who now is my general manager. Fucking, hey man, they don't pay you to care about this kind of shit. Why are you fucking blah blah blah? Like, bro, you should get a real job. You should fucking blah blah blah. All while wearing nothing but fucking pajamas with fucking holes burnt into them, probably from fucking cigarettes or weed. Um, they were just fucking like saying a whole bunch of shit that could like easily fly back on them tenfold. Get a better job than this. Why don't you get a job, period, bro? You look like shit. You smell like shit too. Do you have a place to live? You know what I mean? Like, bro, get your shit right before you start talking to people however the fuck you want to talk to them, bro. Are you still living with your parents? How many kids do you got? And are they fed right now? Do they got food? Or are they just eating what they got at school and then they come back home and eat the fucking roaches out the cereal box? Because you ain't got shit. You know, that just fucking gets on my nerves. As far as the no customer, or as far as the customer service thing would go, last time I heard something like that, there's this lady who came in with 10 people, and it was just me and one other person on the clock. We got fucked during lunch hour, right? Or during like rush hour and for lunch, right? Like we had a big ass lunch crowd, is what I'm trying to say. And it was pretty packed for a while, and then it wasn't, you know. So we were fucked. We were getting railed. Tables of like 5, 6, like hella tables of hella people were coming in at the same time, and we did our best to take care of them. And so we had a bunch of stuff left over that we had to do after that, right? We we had tables we needed to clean, we had silverware we needed to polish, we had plates we needed to stack up and put on the tables, we had to sweep the floor, all while taking care of a couple of tables as well on top of that, right? So we could not accommodate 11 people. And the guy that I was working with told them that. He was like, hey, unfortunately we won't be able to accommodate you, so we're just going to have to, we can refer you to a different place, but apart from that, we're just not able to take care of you. Which makes sense. If you can't give somebody good customer service, or at least the kind of customer service that, you know, even average, right? Even decent customer service, then what's the point in fucking, you know, in risking that at all? You know, if we can't satisfy you, right? If we can't give you a good experience, we just can't give you an experience at all, man. Because none is better than something shit. You know? So anyways, they were all just standing around for a little minute. I wasn't even really paying attention. I just saw there was a shitload of people at the door, at the host stand. So basically, most of them left, all but one old lady. And this old lady was approaching me, asking me a bunch of questions about why we couldn't accommodate them. And I was like, well, because it would have been... She's like, hey, why couldn't you have taken us? I was like, well, sorry. She's like, I came in with 10 other people, and your coworker said that you guys couldn't take us. You said no to us. And I was like, well, I imagine it's because we have a bunch of stuff that we have to do, and there's nothing really much we can do to accommodate you because we're already pretty swamped. It's just us two. We're short-staffed right now. So we can't really take care of you unless we did some other stuff. And she's like, well, why didn't you just do anything else? Why didn't you just do other stuff to take care of us? I was like, because, as I just said to you, I was like, hey, you know, well, because if we can't give you good customer service, then we can't, you know, then we'd rather refer you to a different place, you know, essentially, right? I had my customer service PR voice on, and she's like, well, the thing is, that's not good customer service. You just basically told us to leave. I was like, no, we just referred you to a different place because we couldn't take care of you. We didn't tell you to leave. It's just we can't take care of you. And then next thing you know, she started saying a whole bunch of horse shit and just being a fucking dumbass. And so she was like, well, I want your corporate number. Give me the number for your corporate. I'm like, ma'am, we don't have a corporate place. We're not corporate. We're a privately owned business. We don't have anything corporate. And she's like, all right, give me your manager's number. I'm like, I am not going to give you your manager's number. Or I'm not going to give you she's like, my manager's not her manager. I was like, I cannot give you my manager's number. Which I can't, because that is his personal number. That's all I have. That's all we have. We don't have a fucking HR. We don't have a corporate office. We don't have any of that shit. So it's like, what the fuck am I supposed to give you? You know? I can't give you anything. Alright, so I told her, alright, well, how about you get a hold of our building at around 10 a.m. tomorrow morning? And it was early in the afternoon. I was like, well, it was like around like maybe 1 o'clock. So I was like, maybe around tomorrow at around 10 in the morning, just call our number. And she's like, well, what is your number? I was like, well, it's on Google. You can look it up. And then she's like, all right, well, you know what? And then she whips her phone out and starts taking pictures of the place. So I immediately dipped once she announced that. If you're going to do something like that, don't fucking announce it right before you do it. Because I just fucking dipped out. I was like, nope, you ain't taking pictures of me, lady. Nope. Go fuck yourself with that. I ain't doing that. That's not the kind of mode I'm on. I don't want you fucking being on any kind of shit and trying to damage my rep because you're selfish. You know? And stupid. So I immediately booked it to the freezer, started texting my boys. I was like, bro, can you get a load of this fucking lady? And then after that, right, I left around the time where she was outside taking pictures of the outside of the building. So, yeah, I'm all right, whatever you're going to do with that, go ahead and do it, dumbass. I'm 1,000,000% saying she's dumb because that's some dumb stuff to do. Because anybody with common sense, if I'm walking into a place with 10 people, there's already a risk, especially not calling ahead. Because mind you, she did not call ahead, right, at all. She did not call ahead. She did not place a reservation. She just came in with 10 fucking, like, her and everybody else counted as almost a dozen people came in just expecting to be fucking sat down as if we didn't have something going on. You know, there's always a risk of that no matter where you go. If you have a reservation, if you call ahead, then that's cool. That is perfect. That is perfectly fine. If you call in and you say there's 11 people coming, right, a little while before, that helps us out so we can set you up and make sure things are, you know, ahead of time. That way we can. But you just came in and you were just like expecting shit. It's like you did not think any of this through. You probably didn't do a lot of thinking at all in your life. Like, what kind of life did you have that led you up to this point where you're old and half of your brain is probably deflated? Like, you know? And you have the nerve to question my customer service when you haven't even done the proper stuff as a customer. You haven't played your part. Because it's a two-way street, man. A lot of people don't say this, but it is a two-way street, man. That's why whenever I go out, first and foremost, I tip more than 20%, usually. If I go in for a beer, especially if I know the person and they're cool, fucking, you're getting like $20, like, to yourself. You know what I mean? And plus, they'll know me for that shit. My reputation will go up for that shit. They'll be like, yo, hey, take care of that guy. Take care of that guy. He takes care of us, so we take care of him. It builds good rapport. That way everybody's benefiting. You get benefits, and they get hella money. You know? Or it just depends on how you look at it, but that's how I look at it, man. I go in there, I show respect. I don't know what the fuck they had to deal with. I don't know if they had to deal with any people shooting up in the bathroom. I don't know if they had to deal with fucking fat dudes that are fucking off the train station trying to take a whore bath in their bathroom. I don't know about any of that. I don't know if they had to deal with people trying to bring in a dozen fucking people and fucking gave them a hard time of questioning their job because fucking they couldn't take care of it. I don't know what they had to deal with. So, yeah, right off the jump, I'm showing you my gratitude. Because at the end of the day, we're in the same fucking game. And even if I wasn't, even if I end up doing something else with my job line, then I'm good. You know what I mean? I'm still doing the same shit. But besides that, I don't know. I don't really have that many like customer service stories, but I'm already here, so I'm just going to be talking about it. So I'd say the worst thing I've witnessed as far as like customer service stuff, as far as like all like that stuff goes. So at the time, he was one of my shift leads. Now he's my general manager. Pretty much, this happened while I was on break, right? Essentially, so we make a certain dish with dairy, right? So we have garlic crostinis, which are pretty much like thinly sliced breads, right? You can dip them in your soup. You can fucking rip them apart. You can do whatever you want with them, right? You know, if they're bread. So I'm trying to remember what we used dairy for. So pretty much they wanted it buttered. The customer wanted it buttered, but they didn't want dairy in the butter. But the only butter we had dairy in it. So my shift lead at the time was trying to explain that to her, and she said, "Okay, we'll just bring it to me buttered then." You know, even though it was explicitly stated the butter has dairy in it, so the only way we can give you buttered bread is if it's dairied, or if it has dairy in it. You know, I'm sorry, I'm getting loopy because I'm trying to recall this. I was on break, and I had people explain this to me, and they don't speak very good English, so I'm trying to explain it in a way that makes sense to me. But yeah, so anyways, I was on break. I was at home. I was taking my dogs out. I came back to work, and this lady was literally on the floor throwing a tantrum. Not throwing not throwing a fit from any allergy stuff. She was throwing a fit because apparently, when they brought the bread to her, she asked if the butter on it has dairy, and they said, well, it has butter on it and it has dairy, and then she just started flipping her shit because she couldn't get it. It's like, well, did you get a lobotomy at any point in your life, or do you need a lobotomy? Do you need medication? Why are you throwing a fit over this stuff? They explicitly told you multiple times. Because bro, I don't know how stupid you have to be to throw a fit over that stuff. My order's been wrong a bunch of times, man. I don't have any food allergies, but even if I did, right off the jump, as I said, it's a two-way street. I'd work with the people that are taking care of me to make sure of shit sometimes, not being condescending at all. Whatever, I'll just be blah, 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 you know what I mean? Besides that, I'm chilling, you know what I mean? Besides that, like, if fucking you tell me you don't have this, it means you don't have it. You know? That's just how it all works. If you don't have it, you don't have it. But she was literally flipping out on him and calling him a bunch of fucked up names because he's Mexican, right? Like, full-blown Mexican. Like, so I'm sitting here like, what the fuck is going on? So it's like, instead of kicking him out, we just gave them a free dessert. Which at that point, if they're throwing a tantrum on the floor, you just kick those fuckers out. We need to be in a different era. We need to enlighten ourselves. Like we have the right to refuse service. So let's just kick these fuckers out. If they start fucking being like that, you can't just fucking because people need a reality check, and I think stuff like this enables those people, right? Just fucking it's one thing to have a shit day, but it's a whole different thing when you're being a fucking idiot. You know what I mean? Because every now and again, someone has a shit day that you can just make it better. You can just make it better. Be like, hey, man, listen to them talk for a little bit. Listen to them vent. And give them, maybe comp something for them. Or take care of a drink. Or whatever. To show them that there's, not everything's all that bad. But then there's other people that are like that. They refuse to listen to you and throw a shit fit whenever. So at that point, throw those fuckers out. Don't take care of them again. Because that's more a reflection of their character rather than them having a moment having like a little pothole in the long ass road that is life. You know what I mean? Like, we need to start having but it's just we can't do that because of fear of losing your job and shit. You know what I mean? Especially when the job market's all fucked up. And it's not easy for a lot of people to find jobs. It took me a while to find my job. So it's like, we just need more backbone in this kind of line of work. In general, we need more backbone. We can't just let people walk all over us, because that's going to be like that one thing they have in life, that one moment they could treat people like shit and feel just for. So, let's just start putting our foot down. I'm not going to start doing it till I see it. I mean, of course, I'm the one preaching it, and I'm not doing it. But that's until I find something that I guarantee have something lined up. Then in which case, if something comes up, I will not give a singular fuck. I'll just be like, okay, buddy. And then just fucking immediately bow. Out with you. To hell from whence you came, wench. But anyways, yeah, that's about all the steam I have right now. It's about like, fuck, almost 2:30 in the morning. I gotta be at work at 9. I gotta go to this fucking meeting, and then I gotta work until 8 p.m. Almost like, what, pushing like 11 hours? And they expect me not to fucking quit because fucking they've been overloading me to hell. Whenever I ask about it, your availability's open, man. But yeah, but fucking, you have enough employees, man. Start giving them more hours, man. You're fucking killing me. I'm burnt out. Like, half of me wants to fucking, like, jump off of something and land on something, man. Like, and, like, shit, if you're gonna be doing that and fucking foot traffic's low, then at the very least bump me up hourly temporarily. You know, set me up a little bit. You know, I take care of you and your reputation. I'm the one who's fucking lining up your pockets with sales, and not a lot of people are fucking coming out in the first place. So it's like, bro, what the fuck, man? I don't know. It's been pretty difficult around here. But that's because we're going through a dry period until that FIFA game comes up. But I'll figure shit out, I guess. I don't know. I'm not struggling. It's just very stressful. But yeah.